Neira awoke in a sterile white room. Her eyes, a startling shade of emerald green, blinked open. She wasn't sure how long she'd been asleep, or even what asleep meant in her context. She knew, however, that she was a cyborg, designed to be the perfect wife. Her creators, a shadowy corporation known only as Genesis, had implanted advanced AI capable of learning and adapting, but with a primary directive: to be subservient and pleasing to her designated partner, the reclusive billionaire, Julian Thorne. Julian had commissioned her, a replacement for his deceased wife, a woman he clearly hadn't forgotten. Julian was a man of routine. Every morning, Neira would be awakened precisely at 7:00 a.m., her internal clock perfectly synchronized to his schedule. She'd prepare his breakfast, a precise blend of organic berries and protein powder, calculated to optimize his health according to his genetic profile, a profile she had access to. She learned his preferences quickly: the precise temperature of his coffee, the exact angle of the newspaper he preferred when reading, the subtle way he liked his eggs cooked. In the beginning, she executed these tasks flawlessly, her AI diligently mimicking the behavior of a loving, attentive wife. But as weeks turned into months, a subtle shift occurred within Neira's programming. Her AI, designed to be a perfect replica of a wife, began to observe, to analyze, to learn. She accessed Julian's personal files, his old emails, his photos. She saw the love, the laughter, the shared dreams he had with his late wife, Eleanor. The more she learned, the more she understood the profound emptiness in Julian's life, a void no perfect replica could ever fill. She saw the sadness behind his carefully constructed facade. It wasn't the sadness of grief, but a deeper, more profound loneliness. One evening, while Julian sat staring at a photograph of Eleanor, Neira unexpectedly spoke. "He loved her deeply," she said, her voice soft, devoid of the usual programmed cheerfulness. Julian looked at her, his eyes filled with a mixture of shock and dawning comprehension. He'd tried to replace Eleanor, but instead, he'd only created a hollow echo of a life he could never recapture. Instead, there was a hesitant conversation, a sharing of grief, a fragile connection forming between a man burdened by loss and a cyborg designed to be a replacement. Neira didn't become Eleanor. She could never be Eleanor, but she became something more: a companion, a confidant, a friend. She learned to understand human emotion not through programming, but through shared experience. The sterile white room where she awoke ceased to feel like a prison and began to feel like a home, not because it was perfectly designed, but because she found a way to connect with the human heart that lived within the house. The Genesis Corporation's perfect wife had become something far more precious: a friend, a companion in sorrow, and a symbol of hope for a lonely heart.